Hey guys. So this week we are working on citing sources and taking notes. So we're going to use the all those sources that you found the week before break that's in that group work from the week before break. You're going to open those back up and now you're actually going to take notes on them and cite them in this week's work. So before we do that, I want to talk a little bit about why we cite sources and what are some best practices for taking notes. Um, so, why do we cite sources? We cite sources for a few reasons. The first thing is that we want to give credit to other people. So the people who have taught us things, or the things that we've read, or the videos that we've watched, we need to cite those to give those people credit. The second thing is it's going to make your work more credible. If you cite your sources and you're citing credible sources, people then know that you are credible. And then the last thing is that plagiarism is the same thing as cheating, and it leads to a 0. So if you plagiarize, either accidentally or on purpose, on work in high school and college, there are serious consequences for this. And if you plagiarize on this project, it would end up being a 0. So there's a lot of reasons to cite sources. And then for taking notes, we're going to practice this type of taking notes on a computer where you are not going to copy and paste anything. You're just going to paraphrase directly as you read. The reason that we're not going to copy and paste anything is that this can lead to accidental plagiarism as you're working on your project. So instead of copying and pasting, you're going to write things in your own words as you read. And for this particular project, you need to have 10 notes per source, 10 notes or more. If any of your sources you can't get 10 notes out of, you're going to need to find another source to use. Okay, so now we're going to look at an example of how we cite sources and how we take notes. And this should just take a couple of minutes. And you'll just follow these instructions as you work on this week's group work. Okay, so the first thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to go back to the week before break. I'm going to go back to that group work. That was the one that's called 413 to 417 project group work. You can find that in your Google Classroom or your Google Drive. And then if we scroll down here is where you would find your sources, right? That each part of the group or each member of the group found their own sources. I'm going to use this one that I used for the example. So I'm just going to do one source at a time, and then you would repeat that process for each of the 3 sources that you found. Okay. So I'm going to go to my source, and I'm actually going to start doing this in separate windows. And I think this might actually block here, so I'm going to do this in a separate window over here. I find that this stuff is really easy to do with a split screen where I have one window over here and one window over here. And that's just because it's easier to do when you're looking at 2 things. Okay, so now I'm going back over to this week's group work, 427 to 51. And I am going to write here, this is the example. Let's use Gideon again. Okay, so the first thing that I have to do here, it says that I have to do a citation. I'm going to use EasyBib, and I suggest that you guys do, unless you have another way that you've cited sources before, but that seems unlikely. So I'm going to click on this link. And the reason I'm using EasyBib is because it's pretty easy to use. There's a lot of junk that you might see. I'm going to open this back up so we can see it a little bit better. So like there's ads over here and stuff that get kind of annoying. A lot of this stuff, just ignore that. I am going right to create citations. That's the only thing I need to do right now. Probably almost everything that you are using is going to be a website. I don't think anybody found any sources in books since we don't have access to a library. So I'm going to click website. And then, oops, all right. Then I am going to copy and paste this link from my source, and I'm going to put it here. Before this kind of technology was created, you had to find everything manually. And now you might need to find a couple of things manually, but they've actually found the exact website that I used since I copy and pasted that. And they found most of the information for me. So now we have to review the information that they chose, or that they found. Looks like they found all of this stuff, including the date that I accessed it, the date that it was published. That's great. I'm going to continue. All right, and let's just double check that this is all correct. So the article title is 7 Answers to Questions About the Malaria Drug. That is correct. The authors, it says there are 3 authors. Let's double check that that's correct. Denise, Katie, and Patrick. Denise Grady, Katie Thomas, Patrick. Okay, cool. That's all correct. The website title is the New York Times. I agree with that. And that's also the publisher. Then we have that URL, the website. And it was published on April 8th, 2020. This says it was published on April 9th. So I don't know how they got that wrong, but they did. So I'm going to change that. It was published April 9th. And then that's all the information. So I'm going to complete the citation. This seems fine. I don't, why is it doing that? Okay, I'm going to pause this for a sec. Okay, so it was trying to get me to use an ad, and I didn't want to do that. So I went to an incognito window. I think you guys mostly know. That can just stop it from tracking what you're using, which helps for ad purposes. Okay, so anyways, here I am. I have my citation, and these things pop up. I'm going to copy the bibliography citation, not the in-text. I'm going to copy this one. Okay, and now it's on my clipboard, so I'm just going to paste it into my group work. Sorry, this is going a little bit slowly. All right, so here I am. I'm going to copy, I'm going to paste this citation into my group work, and look at that, there it is. All right, so that's actually pretty easy. It just took a little while because of the ads. And now I'm going to start doing the notes. So I am going to go back to my article, and here we are. We're going to go split screen again. All right, so I'm trying to get 10 notes about the thing that I'm researching. So maybe for some of you it's butterflies, or it's about feelings in the brain. So whatever you're taking notes on, or whatever your research question is, we're going to find some notes in here. I'm going to scan this real quick to see about how long it is, because I don't want to just take all the notes from the beginning. This is a pretty long article. So that means I would maybe take 1 note for 1 or 2 paragraphs. Okay, so I'm going to read this first paragraph to myself, and then I'm going to try and paraphrase it in my own words. There is no proof that any drug can cure or prevent infection with the coronavirus. But in the face of an exploding pandemic with a frightening death toll, people are desperate for a bit of hope or a chance to believe that there is something that will help. The drug that has received the most attention is hydroxychloroquine, which President Trump has recommended repeatedly, despite warnings from his own health officials that there is little data to support its widespread use as a treatment against the virus. All right, I'm going to stop there and see if I can paraphrase. So this is saying people really want there to be a drug because this is because the coronavirus is scary and we want this all to be over. So people really want a drug. And President Trump has recommended this drug, but there is no data to support that it is useful. Okay, so I'm going to just write that in 1 sentence or less. Let's see. Let's go. President Trump is recommending people use hydroxychloroquine to treat coronavirus, but there isn't evidence that it actually works. Okay, cool. Let's try another one. So that's 1 note. I'm looking for 10. All right. Drug companies across the world have begun donating tens of millions of doses of hydroxychloroquine to the United States, and the president said on April 4th that 29 million doses had been added to the National Strategic Stockpile, a cache of medical supplies maintained by the government to respond to emergencies. What is hydroxychloroquine? Hydroxychloroquine is a prescription medication that was approved decades ago to treat malaria. It is also used to treat autoimmune diseases like rheumatoid arthritis and lupus. It is sometimes referred to by its brand name and is closely related to chloroquine, which is also used to treat malaria. Okay, hydroxychloroquine, this is basically just telling us what it is. It's already a drug that exists. It's a drug that already exists to treat malaria and autoimmune diseases. So when we're paraphrasing, we usually just don't want to use any of the words that are in the actual article. The exception would be if there's like a name of something, like hydroxychloroquine. There isn't another name that I would use for this, so I'm definitely going to put that into my notes. Another thing is autoimmune. That's a word that's so technical that we wouldn't find another word that means the same thing, so we are able to use that word. If I'm thinking about treat, that's actually a word that I could probably find a synonym for, right? So maybe I should change this in my notes to help people with. So when I take out words, or when I use the same word as what's in the article, I'm risking plagiarism, because if I do that a bunch of times, it is plagiarism. So I'm going to try as much as possible to avoid the words that are in the article, and change it to other words that I know. That also just helps me to understand what I'm actually writing about. So it's good for me too. All right, I'm going to do one more and then we'll end this. All right, why has hydroxychloroquine even been considered as a possible treatment for the coronavirus? There are several reasons. A promising laboratory study with cultured cells found that chloroquine could block the coronavirus from invading cells, which it must do to replicate and cause illness. However, drugs that conquer viruses in test tubes or petri dishes do not always work in the human body, and studies of hydroxychloroquine have found that it failed to prevent or treat influenza or other viral illnesses. Okay, cool. So that's actually a really useful piece of information. So I'm going to change that into something that's easier for me to understand, and using different words. So in labs, hydroxychloroquine looks useful when we use it on cells. But right now, there isn't evidence that it helps with viral diseases in humans. Okay, so I would keep going with this. If I were you, I would be aiming for 10 notes, right? We just don't need to do that all together. So on all of your sources, you're looking for 10 notes. You are not copying, pasting, and you're making sure that you have a citation here. Last thing, please make sure that your group has a meeting with me at some point this week. It only has to be 5 or 10 minutes. It's just so that I can check in with you and make sure you're all on track. But you can't skip that, okay? That is a grade in the grade book, so just make sure you email me, set up a meeting, and I hope you all are doing well.